Ladies and gentlemen, this interview is brought to you by Burn Up Coaching and the 21-Day Challenge. If you're an entrepreneur or a high achiever, influencer, and you just feel stuck, you feel overwhelmed, you're lacking clarity, you feel like you could use a boost, a recharge to step into your GPS, that's exactly what we're going to be doing in the 21-Day Challenge. What we'll do is we'll get clear on your purpose, be able to dial that into bite-sized steps, help you dial in your morning and nighttime routines, and have you with a daily accountability structure, take actions every single day and be held accountable, and also do weekly deep dive calls to uncover the limiting beliefs that are stopping you from success. So if you're ready to take that leap, send me an email, chris@beyourgps.com for the 21-Day Challenge, and I look forward to talking to you about your next 21-Day Challenge. Also, this interview is brought to you by our iTunes Review of the Week, and this week it was by Joanna Garzili, and Joanna says, let's pull up her review here real quick, and I love it when people do the reviews. I'm going to share how you can do that and give us a review in just a minute here, but Joanna said, high energy and enthusiasm. Chris brings an upbeat vibe that is positively contagious. If you're feeling down or stuck, a few minutes of his show will get you in the necessary headspace to break through any troubles that weigh on you. Thanks so much to Joanna, and if you want to give us a review, go to beyourgps.com/iTunes or search Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self on the iTunes store, and we'll be able to give you that opportunity to share what your thoughts are about the show, how we can grow, how we can improve, and make it even better for the future. Thanks in advance for doing that. Now, this next human being is an absolutely powerhouse human being, a leader, a driven individual who's sharing his vision with the world in such big ways, and he's had a few challenges and obstacles to overcome on his journey. And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today in another minute after I introduce him. How to really be unstoppable in spite of the challenges and the circumstances that you're dealt. So make sure you stick around, because Alex Plasky is going to be bringing some gold to your face, dropping it straight on your face so that you can really grow into your GPS, so that you can really shine, so you can really step into your greatness. So get ready, get a pen and paper ready, get ready to take notes, because he's going to share some serious wisdom, and you're going to really want to remember his story because it's so powerful. So Alex went through traumatic challenges through his life. He lost his dad to cancer. He went to foster care system, and he lost his ability to walk when he was 16 years old from a horse accident. He did not allow these circumstances to define his future, and now he is a speaker, coach, and an author. He shows individuals that their circumstances don't define their success or determine their happiness. And he's here with us today to rock the house and share with us how we can be our GPS. Alex, are you ready to do this, brother?
Oh, I am so excited. Chris, I've been looking forward to this moment all day. Shared it on many platforms, and the others are just as excited. So yeah, let's see what value we can give these individuals and help them on their journey.
Awesome, Alex. Thanks for being here. We're going to dive right into the question of the day, which is the power of asking. Alex, how has this concept of the power of asking made a difference in your life? What difference has it made for you?
All right. Well, I always like to tell people you have to be an askhole.
Yes.
Meaning you just keep on asking and asking and asking and asking. Because there's this thing called the law of probability. And what that means is there are going to be a lot of no's, a tremendous a lot. And when I started, I was shocked on how many no's it really takes to get to a yes. And one book I suggest, if you haven't read it, is Go for the No. And you want to look at a no as a positive, bringing you just one step forward. So you just keep on asking those people and those individuals, and eventually it will turn around and you will get those yeses. When I started speaking, I had a list of like 35 schools, and there were 5 that showed interest, and then 3 that showed immense interest, and that actually turned into a speaking engagement. So yeah, you have to ask a lot of people, and it doesn't matter what you are doing. I always like to go into the 4 SWs, SW, 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 SW. Some people will help you. That's one. Some people won't. So what?
Mm.
And some are waiting. So there are definitely going to be a lot of people that won't help you. And you just have to have the I don't care mindset and the mindset of I just got to keep on going. And some people are waiting for me.
Yes, yes, absolutely, man. I love that. So much power right there. We talked about the askhole. We talked about going for the nose. We talked about really that SWSWSWSW. That's four SWs. Some will, some won't. So what? And then someone's waiting. Is that what the next one, that last one is?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
right. Some are
powerful.
waiting. And
Yeah,
that's just the truth of it. I
it
mean,
is.
and there, even if your niche, even if you feel that there aren't a lot of people, this one person, he proved, he's like, you know what? I'm going to be a niche related to micro pigs. Okay. He thought of an idea that nobody would be into. Guess what? There were people into it.
That's
So no
right.
matter what you are doing, I mean, there are individuals that are waiting for that content, that are waiting for that product, that service, whatever it is that you offer.
Dude, so powerful, man. I love it. So, Alex, for people who are just now learning about you, tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you stand for today. And then after we get through that, we'll dive back into the journey and what were some of those challenges that you went through. You know, you had an accident, but let's not go there yet. Let's talk about who you are and what you stand for in the world specifically.
Who I am, boy, that's a loaded question. So many ways about going through that. And I did hear you on what not to get into yet.
Yeah.
I really stand for helping individuals that have gone through or maybe going through tremendous circumstances because they're and not even on a disability side, but just everybody goes through some tremendous stuff, and a lot of people, it really holds them back from achieving what they truly are capable of. And I really try to show them that, hey, I'm one of the 24%. I mean, there's only 24% of people in my condition that actually have a job, that are, physically limited, have that spinal cord injury. And I went against the odds. And if I can make it possible, I know you can too. And I live by a set of principles, and those principles will help you get to that next level. And one of the principles is asking, one that we just went over. So I thought it was a great correlation into the
I
content.
love it. I love it, man. That's awesome. Well, thank you for sharing what you stand for, and we're absolutely going to get into that journey, man, because your disability is a big part of your life, and dealing with it and moving forward and focusing on your dreams and your vision in spite of that, or dealing with that. That was a card, so to speak, that was dealt to you in your life. So let's go back into the journey and talk about what was some of those challenges, the obstacles, and the accidents that had you become who you are today.
Absolutely. Well, right off the bat, my first memory was me living in a car with my four siblings and my biological family. And then one day being lucky enough to actually sleep in a homeless shelter for a month. I mean, we thought that was like a luxury. And that just blows my mind today because we didn't know any better, So then after bouncing from county to county, because we were known as county hoppers. And what that is the government, they would try to intervene if they saw that you were malnourished or you had not good living conditions. So we would be in a certain county, and then all of the sudden, social services, they would kind of, get a little hints from people calling in or whatever. And then we'd move to another county. So then it's a different jurisdiction. and the process starts over again.
Wow.
So eventually, we were at an area that I felt was fairly normal, if normal exists. And we were living in a house, and then I don't know what happened, but then we moved again. And then it was to the trailer courts in the top of Minnesota. And during the trailer courts, it was okay. I mean, one of my parents worked, and I remember she came home one day and she was kind of crying, and she threw like $1.50 on the table, and that was like from house cleaning for 2 hours worth of work. And it's like, how is that going to help provide for her family to get food on the table? So eventually we had to find other means, and we found this dumpster near one of the store. It was kind of like a bakery convenience store. And was it expired? Yeah. But did we care? Absolutely not. And for the longest time, we were taking out of that. And then one day we were actually caught. For a while, they thought it was a bear that was actually digging into it. But then after living in that condition, we were called, social services was called again, and then we were removed from that biological family. And it was hard. I remember the first week, just crying. Was it a good thing? Absolutely. But at the time, as a kid, you were taken from your family. Sure, my siblings came with me, but it was still a traumatic experience.
Yeah.
And we had lice, and we all had to get our heads shaved. And I mean, you look great, Chris. I love your shaved head. Yeah, we got all shaved, and then eventually, a year and a half to 2 years later, our dad, he worked as hard as he could to regain custody, and that's what he did. At the time, our biological mom, she has a fair amount of different illnesses, and I really do feel that she tried to her best ability to get the necessary help that we needed, but we just didn't have the means. So she actually left after we were taken away. So it was just our dad trying to bring us back. And our dad did bring us back. And then we lived with him a year. And I should have known it was getting bad, because not more than a week later of him having us, we were no longer getting those like meals. He actually did some home cooked meals for a week, and then after that, it was kind of back to how things were. And what ended up happening is it was because he was going through lung cancer. And I remember when he would go to excuse me, I'm trying to move. Nancy, could you move this just a little bit to the left? Thank you. Sorry, guys, for that. Just had to reposition a couple things. But when he would get his blood, he would get these blood transplants, and then he could actually, play catch, and he could do things that a good father, what some people would think of a good father, could do. And then it wasn't a few months later, and he died of cancer, lung cancer. And then that, of course, threw us back into the foster care system. And there was a few different homes that I have been through, and I think there's good and bad in each home. And the adopted family that I was with them for a few years, and then I went to a foster family. And at that family, I just absolutely adored them. We learned many things, everything from how to put up a fence to chainsawing down trees
Wow.
to illegal driving because you had to on the farm. You weren't going to carry all that farm equipment from one place to another.
Right.
But yeah, then horses and working with the animals. And I learned how to break horses for a little bit of a commission. And it was during that second week of training where the horse was spooked and it started to buck back and forth, and my left foot was stuck in the stirrup. So there was nothing that I could do. And I tried pulling the reins to the side so that, because with a horse, where its head goes is where you go. So for instance, if its head's to the side, then it can't really buck. So I was pulling it to the side, and I can't remember if the rein snapped or what, but it wasn't soon after that I flew off. My left foot was still caught, and I slammed my neck on the sand, and then I was out. And it was lucky enough that my foster brother was there, and he was able to stop the horse, get my foot out. And I remember laying there, and I said, "Can somebody get me a pillow?" And my foster dad had finally came out, and he said, "I'm sorry, Alex, I can't." And at the time, it was just tremendous pain. I said, "Are you kidding me? For all I've done for you, and you can't even get me a pillow?" And it was a good thing he didn't, because what was a pillow going to do? Absolutely nothing, but make it worse, because then the spine would have got pushed up, and then all of the broken bones just would have been, shattered even more. So then I was laying there, and finally the ambulance came, and the helicopter, the lifeline, and they brought me to St. Cloud shortly after. And during St. Cloud, that's when I had my surgery. I remember, laying down, and I still couldn't realize what really had happened. And I wasn't even aware that I couldn't feel most of my body, and I lost like 75% of it. And then here they come, and they said, "Alex, we're going to have to wait till the swelling goes down." But then after the swelling went down, then I had my surgery, and not a few days later, I was given these pills, and then I choked on them. And then, since my accident, I lose quite a bit of function of even the breathing, the diaphragm.
Wow.
So choking on those pills, I couldn't breathe. And then after 2 hours of struggling, I said, "Do what you have to do, but I can't take this anymore." So then they put me under, and then I woke up, and then there's this thing sticking out of my neck, and it was connected to a ventilator, which was now breathing for me. And it was a shock, it was like life, it's going to be different. And I embraced it. I said, "You know what? It's still going to be okay." So then after around a month of being in that facility, they sent me to Gillette Children's, which is in Minnesota, Twin Cities. Great group of people. I did my rehabilitation there. And after 4 months of trying to see if, things would spark up, I did anything from, being on the standard to actually getting your body shocked from E-stims. And eventually I did regain function, which was amazing, because the doctors, they had said, "Alex," they said, "I'm sorry, but the function and the movements and the feeling that you have now is what you're going to have for the rest of your life." And at the time, I couldn't move my neck much more than a little bit, and I could move my shoulders just a tinge. And I regained my right arm in about 4 months, and not every single muscle, kind of bicep still no tricep, and I still don't have any dexterity in my fingers or hands or wrist. But I did regain some, which was awesome because then it did increase independence. So like I can use my iPad, my computer independently, brush teeth, things like that. So then after that, I went back to Alexandria, and it was a different setting because of a few reasons. But one of the reasons was I needed a place that could take care of me. So I had the nursing care, the 24-hour, and boy, yeah. So then I've been living here for the last
I do want to get into like what happened from that phase moving forward. I want to go back though to those moments where you were like figuring out how is life going to be different? What am I going to have to do? Especially, you mentioned choking on the pills and not even be able to use your diaphragm, your lungs, and breathing and eat and drink and swallow. And Petya's in the audience, and she asked, how could you be so positive? How could you say in that moment everything will be okay? What really gave you the faith and the power to keep moving forward?
Great question. I have always said that I believe what kept me in that state was the dramatic change that happened. So I went from terrible situations to terrible situations. And for me, it was just like another day. It was like, well, this isn't much different than my normal reality. So I believe it was the constant change and being able to adapt to that change from the foster care, from losing my dad to cancer, from being homeless.
Wow. Yeah, so there was like, you'd already, it's almost like there's the pain, right? Like life in different people's lives, there's a different level, a different threshold of pain that they're comfortable with. And oftentimes to achieve our dreams and goals, we have to endure a certain amount of pain. So you not really saying, hey, I'm going to go after my dreams and goals, I'm going to live my purpose, so bring on the rejection. You were just born into a world with a lot more pain and a lot more difficulty and a lot more survival, really fighting for your life to keep moving forward, to stay alive, to, get that next meal, to have a relationship, with your family, with your dad, to stay alive. Like, you had to fight for that stuff. That was, you were already experiencing lots of pain. Things weren't easy for you. It wasn't comfortable. It wasn't, handed to you on a silver platter.
And what I have to say about pain is there's two different ones. I mean, there's emotional pain and there's physical pain. Right. And physical pain is inevitable, but emotional pain, that is a choice that we all get to make every single day from whatever circumstance or events that are happening. Yeah. And I mean, if you choose to go down that path, that is your choice. But I just chose that. No, this is something I can't change. And I saw there was two options. I saw I can either be physically limited or I can be physically and mentally limited. So no matter how I viewed it, if I was pissed, if I was happy, if I had anger, it wasn't going to change my physical abilities. So why would I want to make myself mentally limited as well?
Wow. It's so powerful. And I think that's a distinction. Like I said, when people are in pursuit of their goals and their dreams, there's physical pain, which it's going to happen. I think people who do marathons and races to challenge themselves. I also think that jumping in a cold shower is a form of physical pain, and we can also use that. We can use that to harden ourselves, to toughen ourselves up. Same thing with emotional pain. We can do things to toughen ourselves up emotionally, to go on a 10-day silent meditation retreat, for example. That could bring up some emotional pain. To go through a coaching program where you really go deep and uncover those limiting beliefs and the sabotage and the stuff from our past. There's a lot of emotional pain that we might not want to dig into, but being willing to confront the physical pain in a cold shower or other things, or confront the emotional pain in digging it up and looking at it and allowing ourselves to release it. I think that there's a lot of power in understanding pain and really having a good conversation about it.
Chris, one thing I always used to tell other people, and this was before my accident, I went around for years taking a warm shower, and then after that being uncomfortable, let's call it pain, a sense of uncomfortability for 45 minutes until I warmed up. But then I thought, you know what, Alex? Why don't you take a warm shower, then the last 2 minutes, put it on ice cold. Yeah. So then when you leave the shower, guess what? You're going to be comfortable for the rest of the day. So, and this is a great metaphor for life. Get rid of those limiting beliefs. Go through that mental anguish, and then it will just all get better from there.
Yeah. And Petya said, I'm well known for great questions. Thank you so much, Alex. She says, I love Alex's humor. And so she said, so is it just adaptation to changes? When you experience changes, a lot of people are attached to their circumstances and to their environment and to how things are. You were very adaptable. You were very fluid, and no matter what happened, you were able to adapt. And I think that's a really powerful thing as well, is what can I adapt to? How can I change my circumstance to endure more challenges or growth or uncomfortability to really grow?
And that, you just said the key word right there. First off, thank you for asking those great questions. And uncomfortability, that is exactly it. Because change, I just saw this quote the other day, and it said, your comfort zone is the prison for you. And it's just outside that growth happens. So uncomfortability means you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable to get places in life. So if it is, for speaking like me, was making those calls at first uncomfortable? Absolutely. I mean, I experienced the fear of rejection. I had, maybe these people won't even want me. So whatever it is you are doing in life, if you aren't a little bit uncomfortable, then your dreams are not big enough.
That's right. So, Alex, one of the big things that you do is you're speaking on stages, and you're speaking about really overcoming and being bigger than our circumstances. So tell us a little bit more about how that happened. You went from this period of time where you're like, I don't even know how to deal with life. I'm going to keep moving forward, but this changes up everything. It changes up what I expected, what I anticipated, my plans, my dreams, maybe, So what was in those moments of how am I really going to show up in life? How did you decide to become a motivational speaker and a transformational speaker and success coach?
Absolutely. Well, it was even for getting a job. I talk about being one of the 24%. So even in something like that, there were huge challenges. And the thoughts that were going through my head was, wow. I mean, they make it so difficult. So I talked to many different individuals. I had people trying to also get me a job. So we went from anyone, well, maybe I could be a host, and I finally got this job at Walmart, and I was a people greeter. Nice. And while I enjoyed speaking to the different individuals out there, I knew that it wasn't aligned with what I was put on this earth. I knew that I could make a bigger difference
Yeah.
than saying hi and bye to everybody that walked through the door.
Yeah.
So I was lost, and I was in a transitional period. I just finished 2 months of college, or 2 years of college. So I got my associate's degree done. And the good thing about, I mean, there are some benefits other than the handicap parking. One good thing about being disabled is the government, they want to either completely pay or pay a portion of the degree that you are in, because they would rather pay, you know, $50,000-$60,000 than millions of dollars for you living on their health care for the
Right.
rest of your life. So as I was waiting for them to pay for more schooling, and I wanted to go into the film business, which is where I'm currently going through right now.
That's awesome.
And as I was waiting, it's like, okay, Alex, what do I want to do here? I can't just sit here. So what I did is I bought 23 audiobooks, all in self-development. And I was taking substantial notes in 17 of them, because I listened to 17. And it's like, okay, now what can I do with this information other than just bettering myself and the people that I tell these tips and tricks to on a small scale, like friends and family.
Right.
And it's like, okay, maybe I could build a program. Then I learned about the Jack Canfield Train the Trainer program.
Yeah.
And it's like, Alex, this could be a great opportunity. I didn't even think speaking was a thing. I mean, sure, I saw people speaking. Did I really associate it as a real, you know, business career? Absolutely not. So then I took a chance, and typically the program is quite expensive, but because it was Christmas, which is a day before my birthday, they had a deal going on, and I took that deal. And a lot of people, could take them 2 years. One, it took them 3 years to complete the program. I'm a little more self-driven. It took me 23 days of waking up in the morning,
You're a
going
beast.
through it, waking up in the morning, going through it. So there was over 40 hours of video to watch.
Wow.
Then there's like 460 pages of like different worksheets, and that you can also use when you do the speaking to your audience, you know, great information there. So I just went through the information, I got certified, and then I started teaching those success principles.
Wow. So amazing. So amazing. I love it, dude. It's an amazing journey. And I swear, like you said, it was 17 books that you went through while you were waiting there, I think you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
In less than 3 months.
Wow. And like studying them, taking notes, really like diving in deeply.
Tremendous notes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I would stop it and then, take a lot of notes and then play it, stop. Wow. And for me, I mean, it takes me a little more time than it would for you when it comes to, I mean, like, I can't type at all. When I use Dragon dictation when I am on, like, my computer, but, you know, I was doing it all on my iPad. So, no, I was just putting in the work. And there is, I mean, here, everybody looks for quick fixes, okay? They try to, do that, and it's an illusion. It really is. I mean, consistency and patience equals success on whatever it is that you're doing. I mean, and the principles that I teach, they will get you to where you are going. You just have to put in the time, put in the effort. I mean, you have to work the principles for the principles to work for you.
That's
And
right.
and there's another thing. I mean, some people say that, well, some things are cliche or that's common sense. Well, common sense is not common practice.
Mm,
I mean, people, they'll hear things,
yeah.
they'll say, oh, yeah, I mean, everybody knows that. Well, is everybody doing that? Absolutely not. And
Mm-mm.
there's the difference from the people that make it to the top to the
Yeah.
ones that aren't. And what I always like to tell people is you can't say something doesn't work until you actually try it.
Try
So
it.
when it came to the self-development books that I was learning, I said, how can I disprove that this doesn't? And one thing was meditation. I'm like, meditation, psh. And then after I heard it, in 60 to 70% of the books that I was listening to, it's like, okay, I better try this meditation stuff. Whoa. And what a difference did it make
Yeah.
for focus,
Mm,
for intuition.
mm,
So, whatever it is that you take from me, I, or Chris, or anybody, I mean, you really don't know until you try it for 30 months or 30 months, 30 days. And then it also can become a habit.
yeah.
And I have a lot to say about habits too, but I don't know how much time we have. So,
This is great, man. I love it. We still got a good amount of time left. I really want to dive into what you said earlier about people know about these things, but it's not common sense isn't always common practice. And when you said consistency and patience, I thought those were two of the best examples, right? Especially consistency, because consistency, if someone is being consistent, like that is such a powerful principle of mastering the basics, of repetition, of brick by brick by brick building the building, building the empire, so to speak. And I really want everyone to ask, whoever's listening right now, to ask yourself, are you being consistent in everything that you do? Are you being consistent in how you manage your finances? Are you managing your finances consistently on a week-to-week basis, the exact same way, scheduling where your money's going to be going, making sure you're disciplined with it? Are you consistent with your calls, with your actions, with how you're growing your business? Are you living the principle of consistency on a day-to-day basis? If you look at your actions yesterday or the last couple, 3 days, ask yourself, was I being consistent? Was I being consistent with the similar times? Am I doing the same actions at similar times every day to keep that rhythm on a daily basis? Am I being consistent with my daily habits, my morning and nighttime routines? And then going into patience. Am I having patience in how I'm doing things? Am I having patience in doing the calls, in, maybe I'm not getting the rewards or the results that I'm looking for, the fruits of my labors yet, but do I have the spirit of patience while I'm doing it? Or am I showing up saying, man, why hasn't it happened yet? I should be there by now. And I'm doing these stupid calls. I'm taking these stupid actions. I'm doing these habits. I'm doing this dumb meditation. Like, what the heck? It's not going to work. It's taking too long. What's the spirit in which you're doing these things? And I really love how it all comes back to those basics, the fundamentals. So, Alex, you said you have principles that you teach. Let's start diving into, specifically what are the most important ones that you want us to really get from this interview, from spending time with you and learning from you, man. Let's go over a couple of those or the set of principles that you teach.
absolutely. The fundamental, and I love how you used that word, and foundation, because you can know all of the tips and tricks in the world. And what I like to go to is, let's say, a tip and a trick. A trick could be, in a metaphor, a wall, a roof, a door. But if you don't have that foundation, that concrete, that house will just blow down, and there's nothing you can do about it, because there's a huge difference between easy and simple. Meaning, a lot of people, they go for, well, is that easy? Is it something that I can get that instant gratification, short term? But guess what? It's not. So, for instance, if it is difficult, they don't do it. So the idea, so let's get into that a little bit more. The idea of a marathon It's extremely simple, okay? You put one foot in front of the other for who knows how long. There's different marathons you can do.
Right.
But because it's not easy, people won't do it.
Hmm.
The idea of what I do, really, when you dig down to it and when you learn it, it's like, wow, that was, the idea is simple, really simple. But because it's not easy, because you have to make phone calls, because you have to do X, Y, and Z, people won't do it. Or a short few will. So once you get in that mindset, it's like, okay, it does, take work. And let's go into another principle. The main principle that I love to teach is taking 100% responsibility for your life, for your actions. And a lot of people, that's too much. It's too frightening for them. I'm not 100% responsible for my life. And once you realize that the actions you do, the thoughts you have in your head, the words that come out of your mouth, they all affect what does happen to you in life. And the best example, the best formula to get to that next level in life is E plus R equals O. Event plus response equals outcome. So for instance, I had an accident. That was my event. I like to call them circumstances. And my response was to be happy. And because of that, my outcome is to be one of the 24% that is making a strive to be better. So whatever it is, let's say you're 300 pounds. Okay, what events has happened in your life? You could have certain things that have happened, and guess what your response was? Start eating. Okay, and now your outcome is you're overweight. So it applies to everything in life, and you just need to realize that, okay, this I am responsible for, and what can I do? Now, a lot of people, taking 100%, it's too much. So what about just taking 5%? What if you just took 5% responsibility for your relationship, for your career, for your finances, for your community? Well, maybe for relationship, it could be listen better. Maybe it could be call your mom. So realizing that not taking all ownership doesn't necessarily have to stop you. Just taking small strides forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Alex. I love this. And Petya's got some more questions. She's being super active in this conversation. So, Petya, big shout out to you. She's a powerhouse. Alex, you should definitely connect with her. She also has her own show. You two should definitely be connected. And she wanted to know, one, what kind of meditation do you do, Alex? And number two, when we were talking about consistency earlier, what if you're consistently doing the wrong thing? What do you do then? So let's start with what kind of meditation, and then let's focus on if you're consistently doing the wrong thing.
Okay, and you might have to remind me for one of them after I get into the other.
Sure.
Okay, so first, meditation. I like to do a few of them. If any of you have ever tried the Tony Robbins priming video, there's one that's like 20 minutes. And you look a little weird. You're going like, you're lifting your arms up and down. You're getting your body moving. You might want to do it in a private place if you don't have that self-confidence. But yeah, you start pumping your arms, then and you're breathing heavy too. Actually, if you're in a room alone, that might sound a little weird. Also, just let people know what you're doing. Just kidding. But anyways, after you put yourself in that state, you kind of get a little relaxed, and then there are a few things you're going to do. first you're going to imagine 3 different, and it's a self-guided meditation.
Okay.
First, you're going to do 3 different things where you just remember a place where you are thankful for, like different events. And then after that, you want to do visualizations within it. You know, where do you want to get in life? And when I do this, boy, the intuition that comes to me throughout the day is tremendous.
Wow.
So that's one of the meditations I do. There's also this meditation called a laughing meditation. Typically when I do this, when I do it alone, but I have done it with a nurse or two. And what it is you just, you get in that state, and meditation, it's all about intentions. Okay, there's so many different kinds of meditations, and whatever intention, let's say your intention was for focus, you know, you just, let's say, breathe and keep your mind on the breath. Very hard to do, way harder than you ever will imagine. But you set the intention of laughing and just having a good time, and you don't want to think of any particular event that's funny. But what you'll notice is after a couple minutes of doing this, like, you know, you kind of force yourself to laugh. You know that saying, like, smile until you feel good? You just want to start laughing until you're actually in that state. So that's one fun meditation I like to do. And I just recently purchased this meditation from Audible. I'm on day 17. And it slowly, I mean, the first day it was like 10 minutes. Now I'm up to 21 minutes. And by 30 days, you know, you're at 30 minutes. So there's just so many different things out there. There's the 6-phase meditation. Look that one up on YouTube. All of it's free. The 6-phase meditation. That's another good one. And like that guy, boy, the business he built is phenomenal. I mean, really look into that one. I can't remember what it's called right now. And then let's get to that second question that I need a little reminding on.
What if you're consistently working on the wrong thing?
You know how we were talking about patience earlier?
Yep.
Well, there's 2 things. I mean, you need to be patient, but then you also need to realize when you need to take feedback and you need to pivot what you're doing. Maybe it's ever so slightly. But feedback is huge, and there's going to be people that's not going to like what you're doing, and that's fine. But you do need to realize that, because that is a huge part. I mean, and now I can't remember the exact word that you used, but
consistency. Like, what if you're working consistently in the wrong direction?
Right. When you're on the wrong thing, right? So you take that feedback, and so it's something that I like to meditate on. So for me, I write down everything the 7 main areas of life. You got finances, you got career, community, relationship, health. Now I'm not remembering the other 2. Free time. There was 6. So you want to write down, you know, all. I always tell my students to do 10. So then once you got your 10 main ones, then you also do action steps for that thing that you want to create. And that's another way just to open up the mind. Open up the mind to see, okay, is what I'm consistently doing, is there another way? Maybe, probably. And when you do that, you will find steps to take, and like I call them action items, because you have to take action. I mean, there's things that I have many bursts of intuition. Do you know that the Snuggie before the Snuggie came out, I had thought of that idea, but because I didn't take action on it, I am not a millionaire. Okay? I am not the one that enjoys that kind of luxury.
Yeah.
But just write down those action items, and like when Chris was talking about really evaluating what you're doing each week, I mean, it has to be measurable. It really does.
Yeah.
And because if it's not measurable, how do you evaluate that you're doing those right steps for what you want to achieve in life? You don't.
No.
So if you haven't read the book, The Productivity Project, that one's huge. And like for me, I am a huge charter on what I do, because that way I know the weeks that I lack. I know if I am going towards the goals that I've set out to achieve.
Yeah. Damn. So powerful, man. So powerful. So, Alex, we're beginning to wrap this conversation up, and we want to know, what is the final takeaways, the final piece of wisdom that our audience gets to receive because of their time invested here today with us, watching or listening to this interview with you?
You know, all that I've talked to you about, it'll show you how to get you to that level. And there's so many things that I haven't been able to talk about because of the limited time that we had. But no matter if you took everything that I said and you now implemented, yes, you are going to start achieving those things in life. But guess what? Once you achieve one thing, you're going to want another. And then after that, another. And that's good. I mean, we need that desire for that greatness, but you're never going to be fulfilled. So to fulfill yourself, you realize, and you need to realize, that it's internal. I mean, the government, the society, they really portray happiness and success as an external value.
Right.
Well, if you aren't living in Orange County, California, you aren't top notch. If you don't have that Snuggie foundation, you aren't top notch. If you don't have an iPhone, whatever.
Right.
So you have to realize that, no, really happiness comes within. And that is so true. There was a time where I was doing the dishes. This was before my accident. And I absolutely hated it. I hated the feeling of water, that greasy stuff going through my fingers, and being able to stand in one position for an hour. I just absolutely hated that. And now, for the longest time, I would have done anything to be able to stand one more time, even if it was just for dishes. I mean, sure, at the time, did I want to go outside and play? Did I want those things? No, but because I didn't enjoy the moment that I was in, I had tremendous, I don't want to say regret, because nobody should have regret. I saw this quote just the other day, and it said, when you like, or when you're thankful for what you have, you begin to start getting more of it. And when you're grateful, that was the word, grateful, and gratitude. That's what this is right here. Yeah. This is gratitude at its finest. And what I put at the end, so the normal quote was, when you're grateful for what you have, you will get more of that. And if you lose it, at least you enjoyed it while you had it. And that, it's very powerful. And now, even with the limited feeling that I have now, only 25%, I can't feel anything nipple down. But now, I enjoy that 25% of feeling way more than I enjoyed 100%. Because now when I get a neck rub, I really think, oh yeah, at least I still can feel this. So, gratitude, being thankful, that is the key to having a happy and successful life.
Wow, man. I love it. Alex, you are a freaking powerhouse, and anyone who listens to this and stays connected with you and continues their journey and signs up for your coaching or signs up for your programs or just gets to know you better, have a conversation, is absolutely blessed. So how do they do that, man? What's the next step that people can take on their journey with you?
Absolutely. As for coaching or speaking, because I do both. So if you are a teacher or a principal or somebody that knows one, I would be more than happy to have a conversation about speaking at your school. As for coaching, I do a month-to-month program as well. So for getting in contact, you can simply search me on Facebook, Alex Plasky, or if you want to go to my page, because most of my content that I put free content just like this every single day.
I love it.
So if you want to bring yourself to the next level, search Alex P. Plasky in the search results, and you can find me there as well. As for phone number, you can also reach me at 320-766-7339, and we can have a conversation and see if we both are a good fit.
So beautiful. Absolutely, Alex. Thank you so much for coming on. Everyone, stay connected with this human being. He is absolutely one to watch, a freaking powerhouse, and I'm super excited to see your journey unfold. Alex, thank you for coming on today, sharing this wisdom with us and our audience, and I appreciate you. I appreciate you being so courageous, so disciplined in the fulfillment of your purpose, your greatest possible self, and you're an absolutely incredible role model. So thanks so much for being here. We appreciate you.
And thank you so much for having me, Chris. I've been looking forward to this so much.
Awesome. Thank you, man. We'll see you soon. Have the best day ever, okay?
Every day.
That's right. That's right, brother. See ya. Take care.